telling you guys, Donovan Mitchell is a human highlight reel. Donovan Mitchell, otherwise known as Spider, is already one of the most exciting players to watch in the league. His fast handles, insane dunking ability, and ridiculous scoring punch make him a threat to have a great play at any moment. In today's video, we're going to cover some of the times that Donovan Mitchell shocked the world. Number 10. Let's start this video off with a banger. One of the first times that Donovan Mitchell shocked the NBA world was when he participated in the Team USA vs. Team World game. This game took place during the season, and there were a lot of people who really didn't know exactly how great Mitchell was just yet. He'd shown flashes of greatness, but not everybody was really wowed by him right away. 5 minutes into the first quarter of this specific game, and Mitchell read a play before it even happened. He jumped a pass and intercepted it, ran all the way down the court, then slammed it down on the other end in emphatic fashion. Take a look at this.
To be our scorer and sometimes facilitate him, and gotta love his energy.
Here's Mitchell, and oh!
If this kind of play doesn't immediately put you on the map in the NBA community, I don't know what's gonna. Mitchell has certainly grown into the type of superstar that we all thought he could eventually become down the line. This dunk was just one of the first signs. Number 9. The next moment we gotta show you when Mitchell shocked the world came in the 2020 NBA bubble. This performance came right in the middle of a playoff series between the Denver Nuggets and the Utah Jazz. You could just tell right away that Mitchell had a different vibe to him at the start of this series.
To clear it out. Mitchell, oh, he punches it home!
In Game 1, Mitchell absolutely exploded. He dropped 57 points and did practically everything you could ever ask of him on the court.
Here's Mitchell, a chance to close out the half with a nice layup.
He was crossing people over. He threw down a few dunks. He was consistent on all of the shots he was taking.
Los Angeles Clippers and an electric player in Luka Doncic. What happens there?
Speaking of electric.
Woo-hoo!
He even impacted the game defensively too. Probably the most shocking part of it all, though, was that Mitchell and the Jazz wound up losing that game. It wasn't just your regular old loss either. They lost by double digits. Donovan was quite literally carrying the team on his back that night.
33 in the game for Jamal Murray. Mitchell with a little get back.
Number 8. Now let's jump back into the dunking world. Spida always gives the fans a show to remember when he's on the court, and in this dunk contest, he definitely gave them just that. He had a number of insane dunks to remember, and it was the reason he was able to win the competition and shock the world with some of his flashy moves. His first dunk was just nuts. Take a look at this.
But he's going to throw it off the backboard.
I have no
First
idea.
backboard.
Okay.
Did you see how he threw the ball off one backboard and yet still maintained his airtime and dunked it onto the other hoop? He made it look so much easier than it actually is. And on top of that, he did it on his very first try, which is not something we see a lot in the dunk contest anymore. Number 7. Sticking with the same exact dunk contest now, he then proceeded to jump over multiple people, including Kevin Hart, for his second dunk that you can see here.
Gucci was spelled with an I.
Yeah, I don't know. That's nice, though. It is, though.
Donovan Mitchell.
While they might be a little crouched over, jumping over a group of human beings at a bizarre angle is still wild nonetheless. Plus, he yet again did it on his first try. Number 6. Finally, we come to the greatest dunk of them all, at least in this competition. This was the one that sealed the deal for him. He took off his jersey and showed off a throwback Toronto Raptors Vince Carter jersey. He then proceeded to do a 360 windmill type of dunk that you can see right now.
Attempt here for Donovan Mitchell.
Here we go.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, your 2018 Verizon Slam Dunk Champion.
And before we move on to the next play, make sure to take a minute and smash that subscribe button. Anyways, let's get right back into it. I think that this dunk contest was 10 times better because of his performance, and I can assure you not everybody thought that he was going to whip out some of the dunks that he did before the event started. Number 5. Moving on now, we come to a crazy final second shot that really shocked everybody on the opposing team, including the fans cheering for that team. The Jazz were playing against the San Antonio Spurs here, and Mitchell picked the ball up in the backcourt. He ran all the way down the court while being pressured by Patty Mills the entire time. The Spurs were up by 3 points with less than 10 seconds left, but it didn't stop Mitchell from jogging down the court and firing a very contested three-pointer that somehow dropped right in with just a few seconds remaining. Take a look at the play.
Seconds down to 8. Donovan's got the ball. Behind the three. Tough shot. It's up.
Without him, the game certainly doesn't go into overtime here, and the Jazz would have taken a loss outright. Even if they went on to lose that game, he gave his squad another shot at redemption. Number 4. This next play was also insane. The Jazz were playing against the Minnesota Timberwolves here, and Robert Covington was tasked with defending Mitchell. Mitchell was in the corner before bursting out to take a pass. Covington stumbled a little bit after banging into another player, but was then sent tumbling to the floor by a single move by Donovan. Check it out.
Minnesota still just 3 of their last 11 from the floor. Donovan rainbows up a shot, gets it.
It honestly looked like Mitchell wanted to wait a minute and really let the crossover sink in, but he got pressured by another defender and was forced to put it up in a hurry. Still though, it clearly did not affect him as he knocked down the triple and capped off the highlight play with just a few minutes left in regulation. Number 3. This next shocking performance came back in that same series against the Nuggets that we talked about earlier in the video. See, he dropped 57 points in Game 1, but I guess he wasn't quite satisfied with the loss that they came away with. So he put the work in, and in Game 4, Mitchell let Denver have it.
It's just being deliberate. Head down, be a decoy, find an open man.
Donovan Mitchell shakes Porter.
This time he scored 51 points on 15 for 27 shooting from the floor. He also hit 4 of his 7 three-point attempts and only missed 1 out of his 18 free throw attempts.
BA spoke to Quinn Snyder. He said the focus defensively for the Jazz will be on their weak side defense as Mitchell drives and scores on the running.
Mitchell just couldn't miss here, and you can tell he was feeling it with some of the celebrations he showed after hitting some unthinkable shots.
Jams, and this one had one right away as we started in the first quarter. Here's Mitchell taking on Jokic. Mitchell, oh!
Number 2. We have another game performance for you up next. This one was a little more shocking than the last because it happened when Mitchell was still just a rookie in the league.
Cancer Institute courtesy. 8-6 New Orleans. Mitchell puts up a long arm layup. Rebound, put it back up left hand.
Donovan and the Jazz were playing the New Orleans Pelicans, and he just went nuts. Mitchell exploded for 41 points, the first time that he'd ever crossed the 40-point mark in his career.
There's not a lot of rookie in that guy.
Way beyond his years.
He shot 13 for 25 from the field, including 6 of 12 from deep. It wasn't just the unbelievable scoring at a young age that really shocked people too, it was also who he was going up against in the game. Mitchell hit 7 shots in the paint as a rookie despite going up against both Anthony Davis and DeMarcus Cousins as they roamed around in the paint.
Well, he's found some energy here in this third quarter. That's a big-time shot.
Mitchell Horesh, slice, dice, count.
I think we all remember just how scary a duo those two guys were, and yet Mitchell wasn't even worried about them getting in the way.
24-point second half. Mitchell again. Oh! Right-hand layup!
Number 1. To wrap up this video, we've got a crazy dunk that nobody saw coming, not even Mitchell himself. This play came during a heated playoff series between the Jazz and the James Harden-led Houston Rockets. It was a big game too, with Utah not wanting to drop the first 2 matchups of the series. Somebody needed to make a play, and with just 6 minutes left and his team barely ahead, Mitchell did just that. Take a look.
In a hurry. Crossover, Mitchell into a reach. Oh! He came in hot and went up high!
Even though he got cut off and was about to settle for a horrible play, Mitchell somehow turned it into a poster putback dunk over multiple defenders in just a few seconds. He was then able to just hang there for a second and take in how badly he had just disrespected those guys in a playoff game, no less. When he was asked about it after the game by reporters, Mitchell answered truthfully and admitted that he wasn't even thinking about doing that. He actually tried to lay it up at first, but then realized he had a clear shot at a putback, so he followed it up. He wasn't even doing it with the intent of dunking on those two guys. And that'll do it for this video on the times that Donovan Mitchell shocked the world. If you enjoyed this one, make sure to click on the video that appears on your screen now.